Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, the rematch. Is the undercard crap? That is what a lot of people are saying. They're saying that this card is no good, that it's weak for the level of the occasion. And, it's not undisputed this time. Usyk is defending his unified titles. He's just neglecting the IBF. He gave it to Daniel Dubois. But a lot of people are saying that they feel that this is a weak card, that it's not that good, and that the Saudi shows are starting to kind of, I don't want to say fade out. They're definitely not doing that, but the Saudi shows as a whole, they're not as good as what they used to be. And I would say, yeah, you're right on that one. Is this card on paper as good as the Matchroom Queensbury show? No, it's not. Is this as good as the Day of Reckoning show? No. Does it have the fight that on paper is like, Joseph Parker versus Zhilei Zhang? Not really, although saying that, the rumour mill is that Bakole versus Kabayel could potentially find its way onto this card. They have done that at times where they've announced the whole card and then they've, maybe because of a pullout, maybe just negotiations took a little bit longer, they have announced another fight. Actually, Bakole was part of that. Originally, if you may remember, it was meant to be Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz on the undercard of Crawford Madrimov. It was Tim Tszyu who pulled out and they announced Jaron Anderson versus Bakole. I thought that came a bit out of left field, but it was a good fight, just a strange fight to make, and clearly I was right. In terms of this card, that would definitely improve it, certainly. But is it a bad card? Define bad. So if you, this is the thing, right? With the Saudis, when they started doing the Day of Reckoning shows, things like that, they were stacked. But they were stacked, those cards. Like, they really did. They stacked them. I mean, if you had said to someone in 2018, 2019, that Anthony Joshua will fight Otto Wallin and Joseph Parker will fight Deontay Wilder. I really should have used Deontay Wilder first, but you get what I'm getting at. If you had said that to a boxer fan, they would have said, oh yeah, that sounds okay. So how many weeks apart are they fighting? No weeks apart. They're actually fighting on the same card. People would be like, that's not going to happen. And it could potentially happen if one was in a bit of a gimme fight, a mismatch, but it's not going to happen on the same card. Who else is on that card? Filip Hrgovic, Daniel Dubois, Jarrell Miller, Lyndon Arthur versus Dimitri Bivol. You would turn around and be like, listen, whatever you're drinking, I'd like some because it's clearly strong. If you think we're going to get that type of card, well, we got it. And that was the Saudis' second show, certainly with Turki Al-Sheikh at the head of the helm. That was their second show. The first one was obviously Fury and Ngannou. And I think at that time, Turkey and the Saudis, they were really trying to get fans invested in these cards, and they had to stack them. They had to stack them because a lot of fans complain, and I get it, but at the end of the day, we've lived through the behind closed door era. As long as we never go back to that again, I won't complain about the Saudi crowds. A lot of times when we're doing a Saudi card, I'm doing a watch along anyway, so I have to sound muted, so I don't know any different. Yeah, when you watch it back the next day, is it the same atmosphere? No, but that's not the be all and end all. They need to get fans involved, they need to get fans in, they need to get fans talking. And those cards, the Day of Reckoning, and even the Fury and Ngannou card, it got people talking, got people interested, it got people thinking, yeah, the Saudis are doing things that we never thought possible. I mean, again, if I said to you, just those three fights alone, Wilder versus Parker, Joshua versus Otto Wallin, and Artur Beterbiev versus Lyndon Arthur, plus Daniel Dubois, 4 fights, right? Daniel Dubois, Jarrell Miller. If in 2019, you said to someone, that's going to be a card, and it's also going to have other fighters like Frank Sanchez, was that the show where Arslanbek Makhmudov fought Kabayel? There's so many of them, I'm forgetting which one was which now. But if you had said to the typical boxing fan, I just wanted to check that my phone wasn't on charge there, my spare one, because I know that has a habit of tampering with the sound. It doesn't, thank God. But if you had said to a boxing fan in 2019, they would never have believed you. So that's what they used to get the people involved. Now, I would imagine, I don't know, but I would imagine the Saudis took a serious hit on those shows. Again, you're paying big names, big money to be on these shows. You're going to take a hit. It's going to happen. Now they're in the stage where they are still putting on big undercards, but they're nowhere near as big. They're more wary, let's say, about the money they're putting out and the money they're getting back in. Fair enough. It's a business at the end of the day. having said that, are the cards really that bad? If you look back to, I know what people are going to say, you're picking on Tyson Fury. Okay, let's not just look at Fury. Let's look at Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. Katie Taylor fought on that card. I think Luke Campbell fought, he fought Dallas Perez on that show. And the guy's basically a journeyman now. But at the time, he'd only lost to Lee Selby. Can't think of his name. And he fought Scott Quigg. That was the co-main. Is anyone talking about those fights? No. That was literally, I think there was maybe one more prelim card. I forget who it was. Could have been Joe Cordina. It might not have been. No, probably wasn't him. Might have been too soon for him. But you get where I'm going with that. Not a great card. Fury versus Chisora of all people. I mean, that should never have been on pay-per-view. The highlight of the card was Daniel Dubois, Kevin Lorena, and that was seen as a gimme fight. The rest of it, who did you have? Like, who did you have on that card? So we look back at some of the shows that we had a couple of years ago, and we say, you know, oh, this undercard for the Saudi show was not good, but it's like, is it really? I mean, it's vastly superior to what we had before. You know, would you, if you had said to someone in 2021, 2022, 2019, if you had even said to someone then that you would have Fabio Wadley, Fraser Clark 2 in what was a fight of the year first time around, having a rematch, you'd have a world title fight with Jay Apataya, you would have Chris Eubank Jr. against Sarah Metten, culminating, I know, yeah, I can't believe that's co-main, God Lord, culminating in Beterbiev Bivol, you'd turn around and say that's a great card. Now with this Fury-Usyk card, I mean, Lee McGregor, Isaac Low IQ, that's a good domestic scrap. It's a 50-50. It's not reactive. It's more, I'd favour Lee McGregor in that one. Dempsey McKean versus Moses of the Town, but I've no idea how that will go. Johnny Fisher versus, I was going to say Alan Babbitt, Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen. I'll give you that one. That might turn out to be a stinker. Peter McGrail versus Dennis McCann is a really good fight. Boaschek versus Madrimov is a good fight. I mean, that's a world level fight. That's a really, really good 50-50 scrap. Plus, given the fact we might get more shows or more fights added to this card, I don't think this is the end result. If you had said to someone a couple of years ago, that is your undercard, you'd be like, I'll have that. 100% I'll have that. I think we've gone to the stage where us as boxing fans, we've been so spoiled with cards over the last year that we're seeing a card that isn't as good. It's not as good as the Day of Reckoning. It's not as good as the Matchroom Queensbury 5v5. I would argue it's not as good as the Fury, the Ring of Fire, which was very special. Very special. That show was just brilliant. Yeah, I would argue it's not as good as that. But it's still not a bad card. You know, I think, I remember Dylan White a few years ago said that boxing fans just love complaining. And I mean, there's an element of truth there when you think about it. When we have these cards that are not bad cards, they're good cards on paper, but we're just looking and saying, crap, don't want to see it. Really good card. What do you think? Do you think this is a bit of an overreaction to the Fury-Usyk card? Do you think that actually when you look at it on paper, especially if we get a Bacoli versus Kabayel, a Bacoli versus Zhang possibly, if we get that instead, if we get one of them, I wouldn't be shocked if Joseph Parker gets announced as well, because I just have a feeling like he's been inactive since March and he's got 2 back-to-back good wins. Not setting the world alight in those wins, not fight of the year caliber, but nevertheless still 2 back-to-back good wins. Surely he might get a run out as well. This might be the card that's announced, but it might not be the end product. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Fury-Usyk 2, is it really a crap card, or is it a card that it could improve? And I'm sure no doubt it will. But in comparison to cards of the past that were on pay-per-view behind a paywall, I mean, people, does anyone remember 2014? Nathan Cleverly, Tony Bellew 2 was a pay-per-view. Oh, I remember that. I have not forgotten about that. Kell Brook, Frankie Gavin, pay-per-view. Joshua fought Kevin Johnson on the undercard. Not a great card. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are we overreacting a little bit to some of these shows? Are they better than we actually think they are? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, as always, if you haven't already. And for now, I'll leave it there. Peace.